Hello everyone, how's it going? Are you hot? Are you just famished and wilted by the sun's cruel rays? Well, I am as well. Today I have one of my favorite roasts of all time. It's probably at least in my top 10 from all the coffees I've tried so far. This is once again from a company called EOTE. I did another review on another roast they had. But what's funny is the roast I chose was an absolutely strange selection from their catalog. It was a French roast, cruelly bitter, very strange flavor notes. It had rawhide and molasses. We're going to take what I believe to be a better example of their roaster catalog and review their vessel from Ethiopia. Now, this is a light roast, but don't be fooled by that necessarily. As much as I love light roasts for their sometimes their brightness, the exotic side of it, their acidity, this one actually has a lot of really impressive boldness and chocolatey flavors, as well as a fantastic blueberry undertone. Had this coffee many times, but I've never really got to discuss it on the show. So, without any further ado, Vessel from EOTE from Ethiopia. So here, you're probably familiar, we are doing the French press method. As you can see, I'm pouring from the sides to bring the grounds up. That's how I was taught. This is a great method, especially if you really want to get some richness out of your coffee and your brew. Now, I usually tend to do way coarser, almost 30, about 26 or 28. So one thing I've been doing recently is after the coffee has been extracted, some people like to stir their coffee to, I guess, get all the aromatics and the flavors aerated. But what I'm really going to do more so than, review it, kind of talk a little bit about EOTE and sort of what it's done for my life as somebody who's gotten more into coffee and the variety of great roasts that come with it. So usually after I'm done with a French press, even after 5 minutes, I usually wait another whole minute for it to cool off, because I find that the hotter the French press is, right after it's it's all said and done, you've pressed the filter down and everything, it still is cooking, and when it's still very, very hot, sometimes it can taste a little bit too, it kind of tastes like dirt or vegetables. I always tell people that the first sip is the most deceiving, because as it's cooling down, different flavor notes and aromas are starting to open up, rather than to I guess just kind of fester there with the heat. So one of the reasons I decided to do French press today instead of the standard drip coffee that I do for my reviews is number one, I've been getting a little bit better with the French press. Sadly, it's taken me a little bit longer than I would have cared to admit. Another reason is that it's, I don't know, I feel like the French press is fantastic for this roast in particular. I feel like it pulls out the boldness, and some of the fruity notes are still intact. It's, and not only that, but just, a good French press in the morning. It's got that silky consistency. So I'm going to do something that I've never done before in the history of the Java Hour. I'm going to actually pair this coffee with a little bit of milk chocolate. It is what it is, folks. If I'm going to enjoy a decently priced cup of coffee, I'm going to have it with some good chocolate. Okay? Capiche. So the coffee by itself is very... It's bold, as most coffees are bold, with the chocolate flavor notes. Chocolate flavor notes, like I've said before, are common in coffee. Most coffee places will, if there is chocolate flavor notes, they will put that front and center as, rich, chocolatey, dark. And since this is a light roast, a lot of light roasts, like I said, have more exotic flavor notes, maybe a little bit more fruity, more floral, maybe they'll taste more like tea. I've had light roast taste like Fig Newtons. I've had them taste like, strawberry shortcakes, like, everything like that. This is sort of a good example of kind of a strange light roast because it is bold like a medium roast or a dark roast, but then there's a slight zip from the blueberry flavor notes as described. Now, the French press may have brought out more of the boldness of this roast, as where a pour over may have that will bring out more of the fruit flavor notes. So I'm sorry if this is a biased review or, not a full spectrum review. Overall, it's a fantastic coffee. It's, I think this is the coffee I recommend to most people who are getting more into coffee, or people who ask me, hey, what are some good roasters around here? Well, I'll usually pull them towards EOTE first because they have light roast, they have medium to dark roast, they have, like I said, that kind of French roast, which is different, but if you want to try something different, they have, they even have little steeped coffee packets now, which are kind of becoming more popularized. Downtown Oklahoma City, you can GPS it. They've got their coffee shop in the basement of this kind of corporate building. It's kind of brutalist. And what I mean by that is like the architecture style is very cold. It's a little bit intimidating. But when you walk down there and you actually get to the coffee shop, it's a completely different atmosphere. So like they have this giant bookshelf that you can look at all their merchandise, their freshly roasted coffee in little cute bags, the little dark blue bags like this, not scrunched up like this, of course, because I've been going through it this week. Yeah, and they have all different kinds of variety of coffee, and then behind the counter, you got these giant roasting machines. They've got burlap bags to bring in the raw coffee beans from that they're about to roast. As someone who's been going there for about 2 years now, I think they're a ray of light in Oklahoma City as a coffee shop that is trying to be a little bit further or forward thinking in terms of how they sell their products, how the environment of their cafe is, and then not only that, but the versatility of their coffee beans. I feel like there's something there for everybody. And not only that, but they have different methods of brew. They have like 2 different kinds of roasts on drip. They have like usually a medium roast and a dark roast. I got a pour over, a Chemex, which I don't have a Chemex here at home. But they asked me what kind of roast I'd like to do, and I picked the vessel. And sure enough, it was fantastic. If you wait even just a little bit of amount of time, it's worth it because they'll bring you something absolutely delicious. They have some of the best lattes. They have some of the best cappuccinos. All around a really cozy place. Everybody there is nice, quaint, and quiet. The owner's a really nice guy. I watched a podcast recently with him and kind of talking about his business and how he kind of looks at life, and he's kind of a more of a quaint Christian kind of guy, and he talked a little bit about overcoming some of his struggles in life. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the one time I did meet him, he was very, very, very kind, and I'm sure I talked his ear off about my favorite roast from there because, man, EOTE's the bomb. They really are. If you're in Oklahoma City, if you live there, you got to go there. Even if you're visiting, I'd say EOTE is a great stop for anyone visiting and interested in coffee. The fact that this is fantastically bold, but it also has a little zip to it. So it's, I'd say for anybody that really likes light roast, be prepared for something mildly different and a little bit bolder. But if you're getting more into coffee and maybe you want to try something a little bit more out there, but it still has that bold, rich, comforting taste, this is the one for you, is the Vessel by EOTE. Ethiopia Sidamo Guji, to be exact, if I'm not butchering that. Yeah, it's good to be alive. Thank you guys for watching the channel. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for watching the music stuff. Thank you for watching the coffee stuff. All around, Thank you, and I appreciate you. So stay tuned for next time. In the meantime, have a nice cup of joe.